Okay, I am going to go ahead and mute everybody. And I'm going to go ahead and record this part of our monthly meeting. Today, we're actually going to hopefully talk about a skill that is going to be very valuable to you, but also very timely. So what we're seeing a lot of right now is people trying to convert their business to virtual or digital, right? And the key is you want to be able to do that without making the consumer experience suffer, right? How do you transition your business to virtual without making the consumer experience worse? And I'm not saying it's easy, right? But it does mean that you got to prepare more and you got to put the right amount of effort into the right things in order to enhance that consumer experience, even though your hands might be tied in some certain areas. So we're going to kind of run through what I think are the top 3 things that you should focus on or emphasize in order to make the consumer experience better for your clients, right? And this applies to buyers, it applies to sellers, it applies to asset managers, hedge fund managers, it applies to everybody, because what we're finding is a very tactile industry has been driven online exclusively. And that's not easy to do, right? There's going to be some great benefits that come out of it, but it's going to really require that each of us become very skilled at a certain number of skills that lend themselves to virtual. So the top 3 things that we're going to cover today are how to shoot better videos. I'm going to teach you some techniques, some tools, some apps, ways to make your videos better, period, right? We're also going to talk about how to master virtual open houses. And then we're going to talk about a thing that I called your pandemic script, right? If you think about it, a lot of advertisers are using like keywords and hot button words because they're trying to communicate to their audience that they take their safety very seriously, right? Well, we need to do that too. And it's a lot easier for a big advertising firm to communicate that to millions than for millions of brokers and realtors to do it consistently. So this training is designed to help you create your pandemic script so that you and the brokers in your office can try and do a much better job of delivering that comfort, right? Because an uncomfortable consumer is never going to pull the trigger on anything, right? You got to make them feel comfortable. So we're going to cover that in pretty good detail. But let's start with videos, all right? Number one problem with videos is they're poorly done, the lighting's terrible, they're shaky, the audio sucks. There's all kinds of really bad videos out online, right? And with your smartphone and a few techniques, you actually can create really engaging, really well done, and very professional looking videos, right? So one thing you should consider is a gimbal, right? Gimbal is a handheld steady cam type tool where you mount your smartphone in it, and as you move, it moves smoothly and it smooths everything out, even if you trip over a curb. And you can buy them for as little as $50. There's all kinds of different versions of them. You can spend a fair amount of money on them. But shaky video is one of the top reasons why people abort and get out of a video and don't watch it, right? The number one reason they get out is poor audio. So consider getting a lavalier mic. A lavalier is a lapel mic that attaches to your collar, your shirt, your coat, and it has a dongle that connects to your smartphone so that the audio is being collected right here rather than 6 feet away where your phone is, right? People use sticks and all kinds of ways to make the phone further away, selfie sticks. The problem is the mic on your smartphone, it's actually a very good mic, but it doesn't work well beyond about 3 feet, the length of your arm. And if you're outside, the ambient noise can be a real problem, and so your voice will be harder to pick up. A lavalier, because it's right here, cuts through all that. All right? So, and you can get those for as little as $15. That's a good expenditure. All right, now let's talk about actually shooting the video, and you're shooting a video of a house. All right, if you're shooting a video of a house, you want to pan through the room consistently, like from right to left or left to right, whatever direction you do, try and do it the same direction in every room. And that way you can give a more consistent experience to the consumer, right? The other thing that happens a lot is people go too fast. You know, you're trying to be respectful of their time, but you're making them dizzy because you're going too fast. A piece of advice I give to most of our agents is shoot video in your own house. Practice, right? Shoot the video in your living room and then watch the video. You have to find that perfect balance of not going too slow or too fast, and it takes practice. So practice at it, right? This is a skill you're going to use over and over again. Another really important piece is intro and outro only. A lot of agents think their mission and their job obligation is to talk throughout the entire tour. That is not true. In fact, that's a mistake. The problem with that is, you know, a tour video is going to be longer than the typical ideal length of a video, 2 or 3 minutes. You're going to be more like 5 to 7 minutes. And talking for 5 to 7 minutes is hard, right? And you end up saying some filler type words because you're just trying to fill gaps. Don't do that. It makes your video inferior, right? It also, and this is an even bigger benefit, is you run the risk of making mistakes. If you feel like you have to talk, you're more likely to say something that you maybe shouldn't have said, right? Fair housing is very strict about what you can and cannot say. And if I'm looking for words because I don't like dead space or dead air, I might go through the family room and go, look at this great big family room. It's awesome. Your kids are going to be able to play for hours on end in here. Boom. Fair housing violation. Can't reference kids. The word family is a dirty word. You can't, when you're touring the backyard and you're showing them the rainbow play system, you can't talk about family and how fun that house is, right? So the problem with video, right, is you're going to upload this on to the MLS. You're going to upload it maybe to your YouTube channel, and then sometime down the road, you're going to get in trouble. And someone's going to go through every video you ever recorded, and they're going to, oh, here's more evidence of this guy doing fair housing violations. So just do music. Intro, hey, we're at this great house. We're going to walk through it. I'm going to show you everything. Outro. Hope you loved it. If you'd like to go to my blah, blah, blah. Jim Clifford, you're an hour too late, my friend. And I am recording, so I am kicking you out. All right. All right, so intro, outro, music bed in between. That's it, right? All right, enough about that. Now let's talk about editing and the quality of the exposure and some of the other things, right? There's an app called Filmic Pro, $15 in the App Store, and it allows you to control the exposure, the autofocus, everything. What's cool about it, and we've all seen these videos, especially touring a house, as you move from room to room, the lighting changes, right? You could go from having a window in front of you to a window behind you, and now you've blown your exposure. Filmic allows you to manage that so that it is less impacted by movements and transitions. You can actually make it focus purely on your face and auto adjust the exposure based on your movements, right? So it's for $14.99. It's a great tool to add to your phone. InShot is a great app for editing mistakes. You probably don't even know it because this video was interrupted twice by people logging into a webinar that isn't happening, and I was able to edit them out. That's the beautiful thing. Have you ever seen a video where that starts with the agent reaching for their phone because they had to turn it on, and then it ends with them reaching for their phone to turn it off? You can crop that out on both ends, right? So InShot allows you to do that. You can cut out the middle sections and then merge them together so it's seamless. Works really well, and it's a free app. Another good free app is Fonto. Fonto actually allows you to make really cool thumbnails for your videos. I'll show you one that I created just this morning. So this is a house that we're going to shoot a TV show at later today. This is the Instagram maximized square thumbnail that I created in Fonto in less than 2 minutes. And that's the cool thing about Fonto. It not only is fully customizable, but it auto adjusts for the social media you're trying to add to. Right? So you can create custom thumbnails, and I know you can do that in Word and other types, but this is done on your phone. It's super easy, and it's designed to auto adjust for different social media platforms. So take advantage of that, all right? All right. Then you're going to upload your video to the MLS. Now, our MLS here in Washington, we don't upload videos, we share a link. So you would share a YouTube link or Vimeo link or something like that. The other thing our MLS doesn't do is you're not allowed to have logos and branding in your video. So I actually, when I create a video, I create an unbranded and a branded. I only upload the unbranded to one place, and that's our MLS, and then I promote the heck out of the branded one all over social media. So that's the purpose and the goal of that. All right, now let's talk about virtual open houses, because that's the biggest difference of this pandemic and what's going on right now, is that we can't hold open houses, but we can hold them virtually. And a lot of people think a virtual open house is just a walk-through recording of a tour of the home. And that is an effective way to show a property, but that's not what a virtual open house is, right? A virtual open house is a streaming live exchange between viewers and you, the agent holding the open house open, right? So the way you do that is you use an app. I like Zoom the best. Zoom actually allows you to, before you launch it, in the settings, you can create a registration. That allows you to capture all of the contacts, right, of all the people that come and watch. The other thing you want to do is hold them on the hour every hour, because you're going to start the virtual open house on the front doorstep, and you're going to give the people a guided tour of the home as you wander around. When people show up, they might show up midstream, and you can tell them, hey, I'm going to start another one at the top of the hour. And that'll cause them to log out and log back in at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock and so on, right? You can just say, hey, we just started. You can certainly stay with us, or you can come back in at 2 o'clock and I'll start at the beginning, whatever you want to do. We want to make it easy, right? Then you follow up because they registered, right? This allows you to schedule a showing with them, because if they saw enough in your virtual open house to feel like this was going to be a good potential house for them, they're not going to write an offer until they've seen it live. Well, now I can manage those showings a little more easily and not have people bumping into each other, which is not only a violation, but it's unhealthy, right? So we schedule them an hour apart. We make sure the seller leaves the house during that time. And then I disinfect the home between every showing. And I communicate that to people so they feel more comfortable when they come, right? Then I have booties, gloves, and masks for them when they get there. Everything I'm doing is to make them feel safer. Whether you're worried about it or not, doesn't matter. You need to make them feel safe, right? All right. Now I want to talk about the pandemic script. The pandemic script is you communicating to everyone who is interested in your service that you take every measure possible to make them healthy, keep them healthy, right? And so you want to be able to describe to them a process. Here's how we do this, and we do it in a touch-free way, right? We cover everything from the first meeting to celebrating the closing and everywhere in between, and that's our pandemic script. So I'm going to run through it and tell you what you should start adopting as you talk to people so that they are made to feel safer. They're going to be more likely to work with you when they feel like you have not missed a thing and you've thought of everything, right? All right. So first meeting via Zoom, easy enough. You can do it just like we're doing right now, right? They can get to know me. They can get to know the service that I'm going to provide, how I'm going to deliver the service, how I'm going to keep them safe. I walk them through my pandemic script, and I get them to hire me. Easy enough, right? They hire me all the time when we meet face to face. I'm just going to have to try harder over the internet, but I'm still going to close at a very high rate, right? I'm going to tell them how we're going to do showings virtually. If they are uncomfortable, they don't have to set foot in a single house that they aren't convinced is the one. But when they see one they're convinced is the one, we're going to set up a live showing where I'm going to arrive early and disinfect the house, and I'm going to do everything to make them feel safe, right? But it starts with virtual showings. I can do virtual showings with the streaming tour like we were just talking about. I can do 3D showings. A lot of these listings are now instituting Matterport, so there's some, product that we can, even through a screen share, we can tour that house using a 3D showing system, and they can decide if it's the right house for them. They can even do VR showings, right? Virtual reality. Your client might have an Oculus or VR glasses or whatever. Happy to accommodate. I'm going to do everything I need to make you feel safe, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, right? Then, when it's time to see it live, before we write an offer, we'll make sure the seller is out of the house. I will arrive a half hour early, make sure that I disinfect the whole house, right? And then when you get there, I'm going to give you masks, gloves, and booties. I want you to be safe. So we will definitely observe the 6-foot social distancing. Easy enough, right? Now we've written an offer and we've had it accepted. That's a good thing, right? Now we really move into a virtual realm, right? We're going to make sure that every inspection that's required as a part of your closing on this house, for the financing, for the home inspection, for everything, is done virtually. What does that mean? Well, what that means is we're going to perform the inspection with the inspector, and then we're going to FaceTime with you, so you don't even have to be there. You see how I said, so you don't even have to be there? When really, they can't be there. Here in Washington State, we're limited to 2 people, me and the inspector. The buyer couldn't be there if they wanted to, but I'm spinning it as a benefit, right? You don't even have to be there. The home inspector will inspect the entire house, and then at the end, we'll FaceTime with you, right? We'll have our smartphones, we'll FaceTime, and he'll tell you everything you found. You have the opportunity to ask questions. We can do that with sewer scopes. We can do that with roof inspections, septic inspections, even the appraisal. Now, I'll tell you which ones you should definitely FaceTime at the end, and it's not all of them, right? We don't need to talk to the appraiser. We just want to know that it came in at value. But I make sure they know that every one of them could, right? That puts people at ease. It makes them relax. It makes them feel safer. It makes them feel more confident. Then we move to closing. We've created a virtual closing process. We've created a thing just for you called curbside signings. And they're going to be like, wow, you guys have thought of everything. That's right. Right? My escrow officer can come to your home and sign you at home and do it in your driveway so they don't even have to come in your home. Or you can go to escrow and pull into their parking garage and they will come out of the building to you, always observing the 6-foot distancing, but making sure that you get what you need without having to get face-to-face with people. We even can do electronic notarization. That's something that didn't even exist 60 days ago. Now you can sign remotely and never have to meet anybody. Right? This is all designed to help the person who's feeling anxious feel less anxious. And it's part of your pandemic script. You've got this scripted process where you've thought of everything, you've covered everything, and you've made it so that they are always, always safe, right? Now we've closed. This is where they get kind of gypped, right? This is the one thing we can't fully give them the same experience, but we can at least let them know we've given it a lot of thought and we've gone to extra measures to make it better than it would be, right? So we're going to still give you a closing gift. We're just going to have to ship it to you. And then when you open it, I want you to open it while we're in a Zoom meeting so that we can have a glass of champagne and cheers you, right? That's how we're going to celebrate, because we kind of have to in this day and age. But then when this pandemic is over, we are going to throw one hell of a party. And I'm going to invite everybody that bought a house during the pandemic to come to a big bash, and we'll just have a grand old time. Doesn't that sound fun? Right? That's my pandemic script. Because they know that this is just unusual times. They're fearful, and they want to know that you have a way for their fears to be allayed, right? And we're still going to have a party at the end. That's it. All right, so remember, better videos, master virtual open houses, and master your pandemic script, and you will deliver a higher quality of service to your clients, and they will have a better experience as a result of it, and the referrals will go up. That's all I got for you today. Have a great day.